This is an advanced lesson, so this is for students who are known by their friends as a pianist. You've got hopefully some knowledge of chords, maybe some sheet music reading, some sight reading skills. You know chords. You've been playing enough to impress almost all of your friends with your piano skills. So if that's you, you're in the right place. If you're in the lesson and it feels way too advanced, you might want to go check out yesterday's lesson, the intermediate version of this week's topic, or the lesson before that, the beginner's lesson, because those will break down the same concepts, only easier. So, but if you are an advanced student, then ask away. No question is too advanced or too obscure. So this is just all about you. You got to ask me the questions so I know what to answer and know how to help you out best. There's a couple other things I want to talk to you about too before this countdown clock gets to 0. All right, first and most important, ask a lot of questions. The way that you're going to do that is there's a couple different ways. You can jump in the chat room and talk with the other students who are logged in at the same time. I'll be watching the chat room too. You can ask your questions there. Or if it's a question that's just for me, a question about the lesson, especially if you know it's one that's going to fit best at the question and answer time at the end, then you can just put your name and your question in the box below this video, click submit, and then I will get that. Now, if you're already in the archives, if you're watching this not live, but you're watching this in the archives, then make sure at the end of the lesson you click on the survey button. You don't have to fill out the entire survey. If you want to, I'd love your feedback, but really the best part of that is that you can put your question in there, and then when you click submit, then I will get all of your questions. I'll make sure that you get them answered, whether you're in the archives or you're live. Right next to this video, there should be a PDF button and an MP3 button. Now, you don't really need those till after the lesson because I'm going to be showing you on screen the PDF and showing you how to use it. And I'll play the MP3 during the lesson too, so you know at the end of the lesson how you're going to use that. Some people, though, like to print out the PDF ahead of time, so as I'm making notes on my version, they can make the same notes on their version, but it works either way. All right, this is perhaps the most important part. You need to leave the lesson when you feel like you're sufficiently challenged. So, I'm teaching these lessons, 12 to 15 lessons a month. Normally in traditional lessons, you're getting like a lesson every other week or so. So this is just way too much for you to take in. So, the goal is for you to get some little nugget of something that you can really practice on, really work on. Once you feel like you have that, then you really don't need anything else from me. Go practice. That's where this stuff is really gonna happen. You're not going to get through this lesson and be able to play something really well. You're going to get through this lesson and have the information that you need to practice more effectively. That's really the goal here. So don't feel bad about taking off early. If you feel like halfway through the lesson you got as much as you can take in at that time, then go practice that thing, and then come back whenever you've got that thing down, or you're bored with it, or you just want to check out the next topic. Don't forget also that you've got the archives too. So if you want to see one little thing, just repeat it over and over and over. Just give me, hopefully within 24 hours after the lesson, this thing will be up in the archive, so you can just go back and watch it over and over and over and over and just get that little segment down. All right, so to be totally honest with you, today is my least favorite topic. Out of the 8 sectors of musicianship that are out there, I'd rather focus on any of them than literacy. But that's what we're doing, because literacy, as it turns out, is extremely important. So I have found a place in my heart to love this topic, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit more about how you can become more literate, so you can have someone just put sheet music down in front of you, say ready, set, play, and you'll be able to read that with greater and greater accuracy. I'm ready. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, welcome back, everybody. This is lesson 364 on this is going to be literacy. So this is supposed to be reading music, but really what I'm doing is just showing you shortcuts on how to play songs that you're supposed to already know. So if you showed up for the intermediate and the beginner lesson, you already know Furlise, or at least you know how to fake your way through Furlise. That's really the what we're doing this week. Then Canon in D. then 2 songs that we did yesterday that I've already forgotten. But anyway, the ones we're doing today are Moonlight Sonata and then Rondo alla Turca. So these ones I clumped these two together, not because they're just because they're famous and because people expect you to know them, but also because they have the thing where we're dealing with relative minors and relative majors. So hopefully you're already aware that the key of C is all white notes. If that was confusing for you, then this lesson is going to go badly for you. But this is an advanced lesson, so I'm going to assume that you all know the key of C is all white notes. Then the key of A minor, you may or may not know, is also all white notes. So if we play, that's the key of C. If we play this, that's the key of A minor, and those are relative because they share all of the same notes. It's the same exact set. Every major key has a relative minor key, and every minor key has a relative major key. Hopefully that all made sense, and some of you, I know, are screaming at your computer. Not all minor scales have relative major scales. That's because harmonic minor and melodic minor don't have relatives. We're just dealing with natural minors today. So then, in both of these songs, we're going to start out in the minor, and then we're going to go to the relative major. So that's really the part we're going to focus on most. Moonlight Sonata is actually in D flat minor, which is the same thing as E major. We know that because, first of all, the notes are going to be the same. So that's the first thing. But also because they're 3 half steps apart, which is always the case for relative majors and minors. So we have C sharp natural minor is going to be the same key as 1, 2, 3 half steps up E major. So that's also true for the first example that I gave you. C major is the same as 1, 2, 3 half steps down A natural minor. So that's always going to be the relationship between the natural minor and the relative major. The major is going to be 3 half steps above the relative minor. So in the case of Rondo alla Turca, fortunately, that is the set of chords that you need is going to be A minor. So it starts off, we're dealing with A minor right here, and then it's later on going to go into the C major scale. All of that stuff is C major. Feels like C is going to be the end of it. But it definitely starts out with, like, this has to be. That definitely has the feel of A minor to it. So we'll get to that one here in just a second. First, let's deal with this, back to the C sharp minor, natural minor. The relative major again is E because that's 3 half steps up. 1, 2, 3. Now, all I'm doing down here is playing octaves. So when you add those chords in, you're actually not going to add much of the chord in the left hand like we did for, actually like we're doing for Rondo alla Turca, like we did for Canon in D and Fiorelise and the other 2 that we did just yesterday, 24 hours ago. I don't remember what the songs were. But actually, you know what? I could look that up. No, I can't. It's going to take a second. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it was all left-hand stuff where we were doing that type of movement. Here, we're just going to pretty much use octaves. And kind of the lower the better. Moonlight Sonata is written with these 2 D flats as the main and D flats for the beginning of the song. But I'm going to recommend that you actually go down here. It's going to sound more authentic. This is stupid. It's going to sound more authentic if you play the wrong notes. If you play the lower ones, it's going to sound bigger and boomier. And that's the way that people remember the song. And since we're just trying to fake our way through, I recommend probably starting up there. And the nice thing about this song, too, is that it has a lot of really flexible rhythms too, and not as much for the other songs, especially Rondo alla Turca. So anyway, read through your notes for the right hand there, and pretty much for your left hand, you're just going to follow all those chords. Then it's going to go to, ends up in E major. Now, if you carry on in the sheet music that's not here on your PDF, farther on, it's going to actually change to E minor, and then switch keys several times after that. But the part that everybody knows... oh, come on. That part is all just D flat, natural minor, and E major. In fact, if you wanted to add something to the end to make it even sound even more finished at the end of that, you could pretty much add in an E major arpeggio. Or the E pentatonic scale, as we've talked about recently, any of that stuff. You could do one of those two-handed riffs that we sometimes do, where you play like these two notes. So playing black notes with the left hand, and then white notes with the right hand. So we play like a F sharp and a G sharp with the left hand, and then we would play a B and an E with the right hand. So this thing right here, F sharp, G sharp, B, E. F sharp, G sharp, B, E. So if we played all of that, it would be something like again. Something like that. So anyway, there's an idea for the end of that one. E major relative to D flat minor. And then it's the same thing with Rondo alla Turca when you get through it. Left hand for this is going to be more chord based, kind of like what we did for yesterday. The first one is in 3/4 and the second one was in 4/4. I still don't know what the songs are that we did, but we talked about, if you go back to the lesson, we talked about how a 3/4 is going to be that thing right there. It was Entertainer. Entertainer is one of them. That was one that was in 4/4. And Blue Danube Waltz. There we go. I just needed the time signatures. So that was the first one. So we had one down here and then 2, 3 up here. And then the other one was Entertainer. All that stuff. So we kind of went back and forth here. This is going to be a combination of those two strategies. So the one, this Blue Danube, is got beat 1 down here, and then 2 of these up here. Now in 4/4, of course, you need an extra one of those up there. So that's where we get the left hand for Rondo alla Turca, is 1 down, 3 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's kind of the left hand feel for Rondo alla Turca. Now again, you can use any chord tones for this. So you could go this in A minor. So you could use this, which is what's actually written C or A, C, and E. All that. But if you wanted to, you could split it up, of course. Go here and here, and that would sound pretty cool. That way you can kind of keep that octave thing going in that left hand the whole way through. So anything that is 1 down and then 3 up. That almost sounds more authentic than the original up here. That sounds more basic. So anyway, in a lot of cases, as you're finding out, playing the wrong notes is actually more convincing than playing the right notes. But there you go. That's kind of what we're doing there. Let me run through the rest of this. And this is actually just an arpeggiation of the C chord. C to C, E to E, G to G. Hopefully you recognize that as a C major triad. And then the next one's going to be an A minor. So that's just A, C, and E, that A minor chord there. And then we're back to the original. We got an F dominant in there. So watch out for that one. It's an F dominant that uses a B natural in the right hand. So that's kind of weird. Read the notes on your PDF. They're all there. Something like that. Anyway, let's get to your questions and my answers. Actually, let's do our feature of the day. So a question of the day for you all to let me know, what do you use, what equipment do you use for the submissions that you do for Clapple Academy or for sending your videos and stuff? I know a lot of you, when we Skype and stuff, you just use webcams, but in case any of you have rigs or setups that you find particularly useful, then let me know what equipment you're using. I know all of you are always asking me what cameras and stuff I use. That information's out there. I think in the FAQ is all of my equipment stuff. But anyway, tell me what you're using and what cameras you like and why you like them and stuff. And we always have new students who are asking about what equipment should I get, what kind of piano do you recommend, all that stuff. So I give them my answers, but I'd like to hear your answers too. Now, let's get to your questions and hopefully some of my answers. Here we go. Yes, continue. There we go. All right. Question number 1. Why didn't we do all classical songs this week? Why didn't we do all classical songs this week? I think we did do all classical songs this week. Unless you meant, why did we do all classical songs this week? We did do Entertainer, which you could kind of categorize that as a jazz song, I guess. But yeah, mostly when you tell people that you know how to play piano, they're going to expect that you know classical pieces. I think that's because most piano training, like if you just go through any regular set of piano books, they usually hit a lot of classical music because it's been out there longer than pop or rock or jazz. But we've done covers of other songs and stuff too. We actually do a cover of a song every other week. So I feel like we cover already a lot of pop and jazz and rock songs. So maybe that's why we focused on classical, or maybe it's just because that seems like that's what's always requested. But anyway, as always, if you have songs that we're not getting to that you want to learn how to play, and you don't want to read the sheet music for it, then let me know, and we'll hopefully get a lesson in on that, or I can just teach it to you privately. When is the new Clapple Academy Level 3 coming out? Man, I'm terrible at these predictions. The Level 3, the new one, and the old one have the same exact material. We're just redoing all the videos because now we're in the new studio. I'm trying to redo all of the old stuff, which is ridiculous. It's a stupid goal. This is a terrible idea to try to do that. But I'm hoping that in the next 3 to 4 weeks, the new content will be out, and we will throw out all of the old videos and have just new videos in the new studio. Some of the formatting of the syllabus and stuff is different, but mostly all the content is exactly the same. So anyway, if you're in the old level 3 or 4 or 5 or any of those higher levels, then that's fine. All that stuff is still perfectly valid. The new ones have a little bit more jazz stuff in it because we realized that as people were going to be approaching Level 12, they would not have had as strong a foundation as would have been convenient. So you'll be seeing more jazz introduced earlier. But if 1 through 12, the content is all still the same. But yeah, I'm hoping 3 to 4 weeks. We'll see. Ask me again in another 3 or 4 weeks. I'll probably say 3 to 4 weeks. But we're working on it. New content out each week. It looks like that is all of our questions from the chat. So until next week when we cover a not classical song from the movie Moana, then I love you. Practice hard. Good luck. Have fun.